5 players who will be overhyped and overpaid in free agency. Jared Allen, restricted free agent for the Cavs. Allen is good at what he does, which is defend the rim and rebound. To defend Jared Allen a bit, if you take a look at some of his stats and just watch him a little bit, I do think he is beginning to develop a jump shot. We'll see where it goes, but I think it's something he's trying. Rebound rate over 17%, block rate north of 4%. Only other guys are Embiid, Capella, and Gobert. $100 million for a throwback big in a league obsessed with versatility and 6'8 wings. That's a little excessive. Well, the name they mention here is Clint Capella. And Capella makes, about $17 million a year or so? Which, it doesn't add up to $100 million, but the cap goes up every year, so that's just kind of how it works. I don't think it's crazy to have this opinion that Jared Allen is not worth the money that Cleveland's going to give him, but it's like, I don't think Jared Allen's done getting better. So I don't think it's crazy, but I also don't think it's insane to be like, do we really want to pay this guy that much? So yeah. Dennis Schroder. Yeah, how much does he want? Despite his sub-mediocrity among volume shooters. Is that a word, sub-mediocrity? I don't know. Long seemed confident for a heap in free agency. $84 million extension, that's what he turned down. Dennis has communicated he wants $100 million, $120 million, which he will probably also get. Who's giving him that? I don't think the Knicks are going to give him that. The Spurs have cap space. I don't think he's going there. He profiles as a prototypical spark off the bench, 12 to 15 million. Yeah, I think the thing with Schroder is it's just like, you see the Lakers, they offered him the $84 million. It's an awkward spot because the Lakers don't really have any other options to get a player. They could maybe make a trade for somebody. Perhaps even a sign-and trade if somebody really wants to go there. But if they don't overpay for Schroder, which they already tried to do, then they might just not get anything. As they put here, John Hollinger says it's the bird rights trap. When a team is capped out and cannot replace key talent, but it can spend lavishly. The biggest example I could think of for this was Drew with the Pelicans, which Drew ended up being really good, of course, but they had to give him an insane contract because they had no other options. Next, they're saying Lonzo, who is restricted, of course. Start with his restricted status, which sometimes prompts teams to extend offer sheets at rates designed to make this is a whole lot of words to say you got to overpay a restricted free agent if you really want him. Yeah, the Bulls might throw 20-something million at Lonzo. I don't know off the top of my head if they can afford that, but if they're really determined and they have to get off of somebody's contract to do it, yeah, they could do it. It's already a safe bet they're going to let Markkanen walk. Well, now they're very nice to him. Everyone should have interest in a brilliant passer, supercharged transition, drain, catch and shoot threes. Yeah, if Lonzo can end up in a perfect spot where he can make plays for scorers like Levine and Vooch, and then still give you all the stuff on defense and space the floor out, then yeah, it makes sense. I'm still a little freaked out about Lonzo's shooting getting worse, but the percentages have been good for the past 2 seasons, and his jump shot is of course different, so that just might be who Lonzo is. Then they mentioned the Knicks, how the Knicks have, the max level cap space again. Who knows what the Pelicans might be driven to do in an effort to appease Zion. Yeah, this is the wild thing, right? What if Zion just really puts the pressure on him this early, which that report suggests is already kind of happening. Ball is not a star, but market conditions are lined up to ensure he'll be paid like one. I don't know if I super agree with this. I still don't really think he's going to get more than, 19 a year. Maybe I'm crazy for that one. And by the way, 19 a year is probably a little too much for the guy. Because for all the improvement Lonzo has made, still doesn't shoot that well from the floor overall. Still barely gets to the free throw line. But he's good, no doubt about that. Mike Conley. So we already had a report saying the Jazz will do whatever they can to keep Conley. It's safe to say they're just going to be they're going to have to pay him and they need him because they cannot sign anybody else. It's similar to the Schroder thing. Conley will play age 34 and 22, lost significant time to hamstring troubles, throw in the Achilles. Was it the Achilles? His durability going forward is a serious issue? Yeah, it's fair. He'd never gotten to the rim less frequently than he did in 2021. Though not technically tied to any one player, the added luxury tax dollars in re-signing Conley, $25 million per season. Well, they got that new owner, and he seems like he's all in on them winning. Maybe he'd be willing to pay it no matter what, at least for a couple years. Feels like a mistake to fork over star-level money to an aging Conley, but the alternative of losing him and replacing him with nothing is even worse. Yeah, pretty much. They've got no other options. Unless there's a world in which they can put, like, I mean, they said it here, like Joe Ingles, Clarkson, Favors. Like, is that trio or that and picks, whatever? Maybe Boyan. I don't know. Is that getting you some huge upgrade at point guard over Conley? Probably not. DeMar DeRozan, unrestricted, my favorite sign and trade guy. Well, Kyle Lowry is my favorite sign and trade guy. Yeah, the on-off numbers have routinely been negative for him. That said, his teams have still been positives when he's been in the game for most of his career. And for what it's worth, some of those on-off numbers, it's like decimal points. It's not as horrible as you can frame it as. Personally, I think in the right spot, given, as they point out, the 6.9 assists per game, just the improvement that he's made as a passer, I think DeRozan can help a team out a lot. I think if he was on the Clippers and he was the guy making the passes, assuming he was content with this role, where he shoots less than PG and Kawhi, because there is a world in which a sign and trade there would work if the Clippers get off of some money first, then I think that would be huge. I think that would really help him out. But it's like, is DeRozan content with averaging, 17 points a game? You can imagine the Knicks, Mavericks, or Heat believing DeRozan could put them over the top. Could Dallas even afford him? They have some cap space. Maybe if they get off of some more money, they could. Miami, of course, has Dragic and Iguodala coming off the books, so they're going to have a lot of stuff.